It is Friday, January 9th, 2025. This is another offseason edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan along for the ride as well, as I'm going old school with the merch today, huh?
Yeah, vintage merch. I have the new school hat on. How about
Yeah,
that?
I do.
I came on. I said, Chris, you look great today, and I meant to say that to you. I really appreciate you, and I love you. I wanted to start off the show by saying that. Okay.
Me too. Right back at you, big boy. I appreciate that. I know you got a little travel coming up, supporting your neighbor for a little playoff game coming up over the weekend. That'll be fun, right?
I'm excited. Playoffs are here. I feel like I'm part of the team. 12th man, Rams.
Yeah. Well, 12th man
I'm
could
not
be
part of the
different if you end up winning this weekend and have to go to Seattle. That's a
They
different
can't have the
ballgame.
12th man. They can't just own that. I know they kind of do, but
Yeah, I was going to say they kind of do a little
kinda
bit. Yeah, a little bit. Down at College Station, Texas A&M, they kind of own that too. That's all right.
Okay.
All right, so a little tip of the cap. I was perusing social media and saw our buddy David Ortiz, a part of one of Fox's sweet shows on The Masked Singer. I guess the season debut, Big Papi was revealed as the big googly-eyed creature, which is not a good deal because I guess he got eliminated. I don't really watch the show. But here is Papi on his sweaty in-costume experience.
Man, I gotta tell you, man, that's a straight up workout right there, boy. I don't need to go to the gym for about a month. But it was so much fun, man. It was so much fun.
I love it. Yeah, Papi was looking like me, during one of our events at the warehouse in August or something, sweating his ass off and leaking through his shirt.
So he got eliminated, which means they
so.
didn't like his voice. I feel like he's got one of those,
distinctive voices.
Very distinctive voice. Like you hear it, it's Big Papi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like to go on that show and be inside one of those costumes and try and sing a little bit?
No, not at all. Because I actually enjoy singing, but I only sing in my car by myself. I'm, one of those guys that's probably too embarrassed to do it anywhere else. But I do enjoy singing.
We have to go out and, whether it's Blitzball Battle 8 or one of these group outings, we have to go do a karaoke night.
I bet you're so freaking good at karaoke.
No, average. I've got a couple of go-to songs, but
see, if you have a go-to song, that means you're great at karaoke. I don't have one.
Yeah.
I've done it at a piano bar. Jim Tomey made me go up my rookie year, and I sang a Garth Brooks song. But I don't really have a go-to one. I'd have to be liquored up a little bit. Let's just be honest. You gotta have to pour some drinks down my throat, okay?
That's the best. Jim Tomey. Hey, pal. Hey, buddy. Got to get up there and do it.
It was more like, get the F on the stage.
Oh, okay. That away, Jimmy. That's good. All right. So some interesting stuff happened with arbitration numbers as players and teams exchanged sides on Thursday. The biggest news is that Tarik Skubal and the Tigers are going to arbitration, at least for now. Sides couldn't come to an agreement on a 2026 salary by Thursday night's deadline. So that means two-time Cy Young Award winner, he filed for $32 million, the team for $19. That $13 million gap is the largest in arbitration history. Do you think that if this goes the distance, this could cause a rift between player and club as Skubal enters his walk year?
I mean, yeah, it'll cause a rift. I mean, how big and what does it mean for the season? That's, I guess, to be seen. All this arbitration process kind of it stinks, dude. You go back and forth with a team and they tell you you're worth this and here's your comp. And you're like, no, here, actually, this is what I think my comp is. It's just a weird process. When I was with the Twins, Terry Ryan was really big about not going to arbitration hearings because he didn't like to cause a tiff between the players and the organization. So he rarely ever did. I think a lot of that's changed now. Different organizations have different philosophies with it, but $19 million, that's the Tigers offer. What pitcher of his caliber is making $19 million? There just isn't. So I don't understand that number necessarily. Obviously 32, it's a big number at the end of arbitration, and it does escalate. It's not like he's not a free agent. So There has to be some comps along the way. There has to be, he has to jump from a specific number to this. And then when you go to file these numbers, you might as well file a high one, essentially. But so to answer your question, if he goes to a hearing, I don't know what bad things they're gonna have to say about Tarik Skubal. Like what? Like usually that's what guys worry about is like, okay, like what are they gonna say that's gonna hurt my feelings? Like, hey, you stink at this. You don't do this well. I don't know what they're gonna say to Tarik Skubal. Like he's literally carried their team for the past 2 years plus. So I don't know how much of a rift it's going to cause because what are they going to say that's going to hurt his feelings?
I don't know. So the if you're to split the baby, which you can't do once you file, meaning the arbiter can't do it. It's either this number or that number for people that aren't familiar with it. However, the team and the player can negotiate up until the actual hearing date. Now, the Tigers are usually called a file and trial club, which means that once they don't come to an agreement by the last night's deadline, that I'll see an arbitration case. I believe a couple of years ago, they sidestepped that with Casey Mize, but there was only like a $25,000 gap in what the player filed and what the team filed. So that was much more easily negotiable. I don't think they're going to find a common ground here. I do wonder. I wonder this. If the Tigers win at $19 million, does that have any effect on trading Tarik Skubal?
I thought about the exact same thing. And you know what? If they do win at 19, I think Skubal could go into the season being like, man, I'm underpaid right now. And that's not what you want your guy to be feeling like. But as far as his trade value, yeah, I mean, it definitely affects it. Obviously, it's for 1 year. So, you know, that $13 million and could be less, obviously, if a team picks him up mid-season. But the $13 million gap, I mean, for a guy like Skubal, does a team really care for 1 year? It definitely makes it more appealing if he's making 19 than 32, especially if a team is at that competitive
threshold.
Yeah, the threshold where you tax more on it. So, like, it does help. I mean, and maybe that's part of the Tigers thinking, like, hey, we're happy to pay this guy $32 million for 1 year, but if we get him for 19, you know, that kind of ups his value. So there's a lot of layers to this. I believe, I gotta believe they get something figured out, Chris. I know that's a huge gap, and yeah, they're a file and trial team, great, but you really want to go to a ARB deal? And if they do, I feel like that means for sure trade.
I don't think it's going to have any impact on how Tarik Skubal feels about the organization moving forward. I really don't. I think that he fully expects to go to free agency next year. I don't think that he'll re-sign with the Tigers because I think that this is their time to do that. Once he hits free agency, he's out the door. Okay. So whether you piss him off by saying, we think it's 19 million. And let's keep in mind that when you make your argument, the team just has to prove in its case, not that Skubal isn't worth 32 mil. It's that he's not worth $1 more than the halfway point between 19 and 32, which is 25.5, I think, if I'm getting that right off the top of my head. So that's what they have to prove. And as far as
prove that,
by bringing in comps of other pitchers, but I don't know how the heck they win this. When I suppose this is it. Skubal made a little bit more than 10 million, and arbiters are reluctant to go with a $20+ million raise from one season to the next.
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm looking right now at the salaries that he's had so far in arbitration. 2.6 in 2024. Then he went to 10.15. That's a 3x jump, a 4x jump.
Yeah, basically 4.
So from 10.15, we're 4x in that. It's 40 plus. So like I think you can get there. And again, that's not necessarily how it works. Right? It is comp based, but good luck trying to tell me that the guy that won back-to-back Cy Youngs, who again was like basically your only starting pitcher in 2024 in the playoffs. In 2025, they had a little bit more help, but this is your guy. I don't know how they win that case.
Once again, getting back to the original question, will it cause more of a rift? I don't think so. I think Skubal plays his ass off in 2026 regardless. He did that little, I don't know if you saw his social media trip through Detroit where he's taking pictures. He went to Comerica. He snapped off a photo. Oh, I miss you so much. He was at the Lions game, I believe. I think he was at a Pistons game, maybe. Like, he was all over the place. He's doing things the right way. He's likable. The city loves him. All of that stuff. He will never have any ill will in that city unless he signs with a rival and comes back and shoves, and then there's going to be a little bit of a problem.
So yeah, and then if you you could break it down to like 3 parts of like how you feel about your team. Number 1 is your teammates and your coaching staff, like people that are in the clubhouse. That means the most. Number 2 is the fans. Care a lot about the fans and how they perceive you, and obviously you want to give everything to the fans because, I mean, if they don't come out to the yard, like what is baseball, right? Like they mean a lot. Third, and by far way down the line, is like what you think about the front office. Like that like a lot of times doesn't even enter your mind. You might get mad at them every once in a while. You might be happy with them every once in a while, but you really like just, like, go do your thing. Give me a good roster. I'm going to go with my boys and the fans here and go win some baseball games. That's what you think about.
All right. I'll ask you this again every time we bring up Skubal's name. Opening day for the Detroit. Who's he throwing a pitch for on opening day? Is it the Tigers or someone else?
You know my feeling on this. They got to trade him now. So I say somebody else.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just trying to hope for that, so I don't have to see him 5 times a year in the.
I see. I like seeing him. Like, hey, like he's one of the best pitchers in the world. Come on.
He's awesome to watch. So I hope it's somewhere else. I don't know. Tigers fans, I understand where you're sitting. By the way, just in case you're curious, largest arbitration win ever for a pitcher was David Price, a shade under 20 mil, but that was a decade ago. So with inflation, that's probably like 37 million. I'm kidding. It's like 20 something I saw. All right. According to The Athletic, the Philadelphia Phillies are going to meet with Bo Bichette next week. Does this feel like the best fit out there for the free agent? And what do you think it means in terms of roster construction moving forward if he signs in the city of brotherly love?
I don't know if it's the best fit. I like the fit. I think that's a fascinating move by the Phillies, and it's a very Dave Dombrowski move. We always talk about, the old gunslinger out there going and getting the big boys. He's like a big game hunter, isn't he?
Yeah.
He always gets his guy. And then, so the reason I say I don't know how great of a fit it is, they're reporting that if this happens, that they might be out on JT Realmuto. And to me, like, I don't know if I like that. Now, adding Bo to their lineup is great. Love that. But JT seems to be, the guy that the pitchers want to throw to. And that's a big part of their success is how their pitching staff does. So I don't know if it's the best fit. I like the fit. For team construction, I mentioned it. Like if they go sign Bo, it sounds like they're out on Realmuto, so they'll have to figure out the catching position. My guy, thick-thighed Ryan Jeffers has been mentioned a bunch. They like him a lot. I don't know if the Twins part with him. He is a free agent after next year. That'll be interesting. So they'll have to go find a catcher. And then they'll slot Bo in at third base is what they're saying, which is interesting. Bryson Stott second base, leave him there, put Bo at third, and that means they have to shop Bohm, which we've heard all throughout the offseason and even last year a little bit. They'll have to find a taker. I think he's making 10 point something in arbitration. Would a team take all of that? I don't know. Kind of depends on the package, but it's an interesting fit. One that I really hadn't given a lot of thought to.
Me neither.
But the more I think about it, I mean, I like it if they can do both him and JT. And apparently they're not willing to do that because they are past the threshold. He's going to be taxed at basically double. Like they're going to pay
more than double. It's 110% for every dollar that you're over.
Yeah, but a lot of teams do that. Go ask the Dodgers.
I know.
They don't care.
I understand all that. I think it would be fascinating just based on the number of moves you have to make afterward. And you hit on it. Right now, their catching situation, if JT Realmuto doesn't come back, is Garrett Stubbs and Rafael Marchand. And that's not good enough. It's not good enough. But I don't think you could just keep running it back. And that's what they're kind of looking at doing right now. I think they've got to change something up. And I think that Bo Bichette is a perfect stick to put in there to cure kind of some of their October woes. His strikeout rate is significantly below the league average. His chase rate is a little bit above average, but still, if you're not okay, so he chases some pitches, but he doesn't strike out. It's kind of a weird dichotomy, but that's the way it goes when you're looking at the numbers. The other thing is that he has never played a lick of third base. At least he played a little bit of second in the minors. None in the minors, none in the majors. And I don't think you want to move Stott over to third because then you're maybe do, because Stott has turned himself into a really good second baseman. He came up in the big leagues. I think the first position he ever played was third base. But he's really turned himself into a very good defender at second. So I don't know if you want to weaken two positions necessarily. And then with Bohm, I think you'd basically have to give him away. I think if you're asking somebody, he just settled on an arbitration case for a little over $10 million, which isn't terrible for a guy like him. Like, we expect him as a top 5 draft pick to be better than he is, but he still puts up some decent numbers, and he's got some power from the right side. Not a tremendous amount. You always want more. You look at him, you're like, God, he looks like an Adonis. He should be hitting 25, 30 homer a year. That's not who he's been at all. I think that that if some other team is going to eat the $10 million, that they're not going to give you anything back, that they're going to say, that's what we're taking off of your books.
I'm trying to find a catcher.
Huh? You're trying to find a catcher for him?
Yeah, I am.
Victor Caratini's out there, but he's like a part-timer.
You know, like guys that I've seen up close and personal, like I like Christian Vasquez as a person. He can handle a pitching staff and is good defensively, but the offensive stats have been so bad. Like, are you willing to give that up?
Well, so yes, that's what you're going to be left with. And you're going to be left with not an automatic out at the bottom of the lineup come October, but that's kind of what you're looking at. If you're not going to be able to bring back Real Muto for, you know, I mean, you would pencil him in for 12 to 14 this year, wouldn't you?
Could you go get Hunter Goodman? Like, is he available?
I don't know. That would
is he like on teams' radars? Like, I love this guy's swing, and obviously he put up some big numbers last year.
Isn't it more important what he does with the pitching staff? Let's be honest.
I think he's a decent catcher, Chris.
Okay,
and what is he? He's 26 and he's got probably 4 more years of control. I'm all about Hunter Goodman.
Well, that's going to cost
a young Josh Donaldson. That's what he looks like to me.
That is going to cost you substantially then, with that much service time still available on a deal. The Rockies aren't going to be like, hey, let's just give him away for free.
No, obviously.
So I think this is fascinating. I do think that I would love to see it happen. I would love to see it happen because there's so much more that has to then go on where Dave Dombrowski's got to say, okay, we're bringing in this, but we got to move that. We're not going to be able to take anything for Alec Bohm. Oh, we still have to deal with Nick Castellanos over here. There's a lot, and we got to deal with the catching position because Real Muto's not going to come back. There is a lot of stuff that's going on.
My big brain is working right now.
Yep.
What would Colorado like to really get rid of? Chris Bryant's contract.
Oh, come on.
Way you take on that and get Hunter Goodman, and does that affect your?
We just talked about the luxury tax situation.
Yeah, is there a way to like push it down the line or something?
Down the line.
Yeah, I don't know.
What is this, okay. NFL salary cap? Where
I'm starting to think that
John Watson's
people are doing that
down the road. That's not.
They don't. And you know, after I was looking, after like 2027, they don't have a ton of like financial commitments.
Well, no, they have a couple
off the books.
Coming
plus,
off
new CBA. We'll see what happens with that.
Don't say they don't have a ton. They still have Harper. They still have Trey Turner. They still have
Nola.
But
they'll be they could get under that tier.
Yes, they can because
reset their the tax hit.
Walker and Castellanos come off the books after 27.
I'm thinking
after 26.
People out there, if you need a catcher, Hunter Goodman, Chris Bryant, take the money on.
Hey,
one other all of it.
One other bit of breaking news for you. Ken Rosenthal from The Athletic said that Ketel Marte will remain with the Diamondbacks. He will not be traded. That's a big deal because you say, okay, well, it could happen during the season. Well, not after the first 10 days. He becomes a 10-5 guy. And so if you take Mike Hazen at his word, then he's a Diamondback.
Love that. Well, no, he's not necessarily. It just means he has a full no trade clause.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
He could waive it for an extra few bucks.
I wonder if that has what that means in terms of Alex Bregman.
Love that. I like that fit.
I know you do. So does Jake. So does
Dalton Feely.
Yes. Yeah. All right, Phillies fans, let us know how you think this is going to play out. I mean, of course, every team would love Bo Bichette, but the dominoes that would then fall financially, Real Muto-wise, Bohm-wise, all of that sort of stuff. How do you see it playing out? What's the perfect scenario for the Phillies? And folks, let us know in the comments section, once and for all, where is Bo Bichette landing?
Phillies are bringing Real Muto back. I'm sorry. It's happening.
So
tell
you'd be good with
JT,
them-
look, this is what we got to tell JT. Look. We are at this level. Like, we can't, if you want to, we want to win a World Series. We've been doing this. You said it yourself, Chris, you can't just run it back. So, yeah, hey, we want to go get Bo Bichette. That's going to make us a better team. Obviously, we want you back. So, 2-year deal. We'll pay you a couple $1 million for the next couple years.
Couple million?
Yeah, and defer the rest. And like if you're JT, like, dude, I've made a ton of money. That's fine. Okay. Like, I don't need it all up front. I want to win. Like, would he do that? I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. It just seems to me like they have to bring JT back.
What do you did you look and see what Real Muto's made?
Ooh, career earnings?
Mm-hmm.
I have not.
What do you got?
Do you have it up?
Mm-hmm.
Fudge. It's over 100.
Yes,
128.
Oh, good job. Good guess. Not close enough to win both showcases on The Price is Right, but very good. 135 and change.
I think you can convince a guy like that. Like, hey, like, let's just push some. Hey, how about a security blanket, little nest at the end there.
Well, you can't not. I mean, it all has to count.
I know, but the value goes down as when you push it down.
Okay. All right. This episode of Baseball Today is sponsored by our friends over at SeatGeek. Yes, we're in the baseball offseason, but there's a ton of great events out there. You got the NFL playoffs. Plouffe's going to be at a game. College football playoffs, the championship next week in Miami. NBA's in midseason. You got hockey. You got the World Cup coming up this summer in North America. That's why we want to give the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek, a huge shout out. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. I have used it myself, gotten great seats late in the game too. You're like, oh, do I want to go to a game? Yeah, of course I want to go. So I check it out. Cool. Got great seats. They help you out. They figure out where to sit. That's, it's not always the green dot always comes with like, oh, you're like, oh, well, court seats. Of course, it's the best seat in the house. Yeah, but it's not always the best value. So SeatGeek is looking out for you. And here's another deal. We got a code for you guys. You can all use Baseball 2026 to get 10% off your next seats at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets, promo code Baseball 2026. Make sure you click the link in the description, download the app, have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Who knows? You'll show up at an event and maybe Trevor Plouffe and that mustache will be sitting near you. Go check it out. All right. We mentioned Edward Cabrera's name at the beginning of this week. He got moved to the north side of Chicago. Cubs 3-for-1 deal. Chicago's top outfield prospect, Owen Casey, is heading south along with a pair of infield prospects, Edgardo De Leon and Christian Hernandez. How big a move is this for the Chicago Cubs?
I mean, obviously, it's a big move. You're moving your top prospect. You're bringing in a guy who has elite talent, years of control left to be one of your top starting pitchers. It's kind of a head scratcher to me, if we're being honest, Chris. They had some depth in that rotation. Does this make their starting rotation better? Yes. Again, like, you have years of control of a guy that has the potential to be an ace. Like, that's very intriguing, and you want that on your team. I just think that offensively, the Cubs need a little bit more. And I know, Casey didn't show a ton at the big league level, but he has the makings of a guy that's going to hit at the big league level. He walks. I know he strikes out a lot, but I really like the swing. I think it does play. So you're out on him, and you're out on Kyle Tucker, and I know, like, overall statistics on the Cubs are pretty good. If you're looking at what they did last year offensively, but in the second half, not so good. Like, Pete Armstrong came down to earth. Like, the offense wasn't great in the second half. They weren't great in the playoffs. And I think this is a great move, but, like, you need to keep going. Like, they need to go sign an impact back. They're not bringing back Tucker. That's not happening.
Well, we're going to get all to that in question 4 with the Cubs if they need
Sure,
that.
sure, but I just it's kind of a head scratching move to me. I'm in on it. It's a big deal, but it wouldn't be the move that I would have made. If that makes sense.
I would call it risky at best, because you are giving up your top prospect for a guy who has had major injury history. I mean, he had a sprained UCL, right? That's a partial tear. That's exactly what a sprain means, and that would scare the bejesus out of me, particularly with this pitching staff. Now, I know that Cade Horton was great, and we expect him, but there are a lot of questions about this rotation. Shota, I know he's back on the qualifying offer, but he went from kind of this godsend to we can't even pitch him in meaningful playoff innings. So what are we going to get out of him? Tyone is in his walk year. Matthew Boyd was great for the first 4 months and then kind of fell apart a little bit toward the end. So which Matthew Boyd are you getting? We kept hearing that they were in on Cease. They were in on Michael King. They were in on Imai, and they didn't get any of them. So what's the next thing you do? You trade for a guy who's going to make less than $5 million next year. He still has 3 years of control, but I don't understand how you can't get past the injury history with him. We're not talking about one small issue. He has been on the injured list multiple times each of the last 2 years, and that just screams that something is going to happen. And with the Cubs, we're talking about, it's great that he's got 3 years of control left, but what does it mean for 2026? If he's on the shelf at all, now we've given away our top bat for this? And all we heard was, well, we can't give up Owen Casey because what happens if Kyle Tucker walks? So now you're going to do it for a guy who's got injury history. It just doesn't equate in my mind.
Agreed. The injury history is very scary. I mean, it's a risk that I think a lot of teams are willing to take because of the 3 years of control, arbitration. So it's a fixed cost. I mean, what's he going to make over those 3 years? Not much. I think that's a big part of it. It does allow you to continue to go and be a player in free agency, although we haven't really seen them do that. What's the last big contract they gave out? Was it Dansby?
Yeah.
They traded for Tuck. So they get rid of Cam Smith and Owen Casey in consecutive seasons.
Yeah.
Well, one for a guy that played one season who, I don't think he really endeared himself to the Cubs front office.
No, but he was also hurt the second half of the year, and we didn't find that out until late in the season.
It's been some interesting moves that really haven't worked out, if we're being honest.
No. I don't know what the Cubs are doing. And maybe that gets us to our next question a little bit. I want to put it on hold for just a second because I do want to talk about this from Miami's standpoint.
Okay.
Does it feel a little bit like this could be the next Kyle Stowers move for them? Let's remember Stowers wasn't as big a prospect for the Orioles. He certainly wasn't one of their top 5 when they traded for him in the Rodgers deal, but he then turned into an all-star stick last year. Do you think that Casey could have that sort of impact on Miami?
Sure, yeah, he could. And this isn't, I mean, I don't really know what Miami is doing. I know they're rebuilding and they're obviously going very, very young. They still have starters, and a lot of the prospects coming up are starters. So they had rotational organization depth. So I get that. It's a very obviously a young team. But the offense is starting to get really, really fun. With Stowers is that guy, and Owen Casey comes up and is that guy. What we saw from Marcy last year at center, that's a hell of an outfield right there. The really young, controllable outfield.
Mm-hmm.
A couple guys, like Xavier Edwards or I was going to say Agustin Ramirez. The jury's still out on that guy for me.
Yes,
I like him a lot. I think he needs to kind of hone in the craft. I don't know. Whenever a team rebuilds like this, I'm like, all right, it could work, or it just could be just really bad too, right? It's such a, if you're not a player in free agency and your trades are meant to get you young guys, pretty unproven guys, it's very risky. I think Bendix knows what he's doing. I think, but we're gonna have to wait and see. It's still gonna be a couple years for me before I think we really know how all of this turns out.
I think that he is running the risk of the whole teeter-totter experiment. By that, I mean, When guys start to earn money in arbitration, we're going to get them out the door for guys that we can replenish. And for now, it means trading pitchers who teams want and bringing in position players. But in a couple of years, that could shift, and we start sending out position players that teams want when they start earning money. And I think that's a real tough balance to strike. I do like getting this kid. I'm a big believer in him. Maybe I have an affinity for gingers at the major league level. I want to see more. You remember Bobby Kilty? He used to play for the A's.
I was a AAA teammate of Bobby Kilty. I've seen him naked on the bus before. How about that?
That doesn't need any explanation.
On the bus.
What did we talk? Why are we naked on a bus?
Ask Bobby Kilty.
So,
no.
Redheads can be a little strange, right?
He was out there. Fun, great teammate. Love him. We had some bus rides there in Rochester. Let me tell you that.
Why is he naked?
Again, you got to ask Bobby Kilty. He was just like a thing. Like
I don't have access to Bobby Kilty. I do have access to you.
I remember him like hanging from like where you stowed like kind of like your luggage up top, and he was just naked during one trip.
So he had his carry-ons just dangling, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, all the carry-ons out. Yeah, strange things do happen on minor league bus rides. I'll tell you that right now. Especially back in the day.
I imagine it's hard once you've seen a redhead naked to get that out of your
why
out of your brain.
I don't discriminate hair color.
No, but it's bright.
I mean, it was dark. It was a nighttime bus trip.
Oh, what was he glow in the dark?
He was pretty white, that's for sure. He kind of was. I knew that gets you going.
I don't know how we went from Owen Casey's 850 minor league OPS to Bobby Kilty dangling for all to see on a nighttime bus ride, but here we are.
Those are some. Oh man, one day we should just do some bus stories.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. Look, the Cubs are. This is the second straight year where they've given up a top prospect, and you mentioned Cam Smith, and that was even a weirder deal because they had just drafted him in the first round, and he ended up being kind of like the future centerpiece of that 3-for-1 Kyle Tucker deal, and he came out of the gate hot and then really struggled. Still was a 2-WAR player, which as a rookie, fine, we'll take that. Got his experience. I think Casey, it'll be similar. I mean, like he does have a lot of swing and miss. I know that some people are very concerned about that, but who's not? Who doesn't have swing and a miss? If you can pop 20 homers and get some doubles in there, it's good. I'm happy he gets to play every day. I wish it was in Cleveland, but that's neither here nor there.
Choose a side because I think I really like this for the Marlins. I'm more on the Marlins side of this.
I'm worried about Cabrera blowing up his elbow. I really am. I would have had the same concern if he had gone to New York when we talked about that earlier in the week. I just think he is a risky investment, particularly for the Cubs, who, as we continue on, they've got to do something with a bat. And that's the next topic here, because we've heard that they are still interested in Bregman and Bichette and Bellinger, apparently only people whose last names begin with B. Do you expect Chicago to make a big swing in the free agent market?
I think they have to, Chris. I think they have to. And I don't know kind of what they're waiting for. This is a major market team, a team that's worth a ton, a team that's built up they've done everything to continue to earn money. They have their own network. They built up Wrigleyville. They're a marquee franchise, like in a big city. Like, what are we waiting for? Like, let's go make a play. You are like the Cubs have I know they were like the lovable losers for a while, isn't that right? Didn't they call them that?
Sure.
They're not that anymore. You're not that anymore. You should never be that again. So yeah, they have to, Chris. And I don't know, like are they waiting for next year? I don't think you can continue to do that. Like you need to be successful, a successful organization at the big league level, you have to be a player in all facets. You have to develop, you have to trade, and you have to sign free agents. Like you just do. You have to get proven major league talent on your roster, and you got these guys who you just mentioned, the triple Bs out there. Any one of them would be a fit. Like go make it happen. I really liked that they took a swing at Kyle Tucker last year. Like I said, it worked out. He had a good year. But they didn't re-sign him. You can go and say, was it worth it? Cubs fans will probably say, no, probably not now. But it doesn't matter. You have to continue to put the pedal down, and you have some holes. You can make that lineup really, really good with one of those players. So I think they have to go. They have to go get an impact bet. Yes, and a right-handed is my preference.
We're showing the lineup right now for audio only. Bush, Horner, Happ, Suzuki, PCA, Kelly, Ballesteros, Swanson, Shaw. The OPS numbers in the top 7 are Ballesteros is he was a minor leaguer last year. The top 6 are all over 109 OPS plus, which is nice, but a lot of that damage, not all of them, but for quite a few of them, was done in the first half of the year. The team OPS was down 51 points the second half of the season. And then we got to the playoffs where they averaged less than 3 runs a game. They scored 6 runs against the Padres and ended up winning in 3 games somehow.
And then got blasted by the Brewers. I think
they lost in 5.
I think it's, I use that term leisurely there. I think it's Bregman or Bichette makes the most sense, and you turn Matt Shaw into a utility guy who's a depth piece for you, and you go continue to improve that lineup. That can be a very, very good lineup if you put Bregman or Bichette in it.
I don't understand what their thought process is, and I wish that ownership would come out and give people, because you've built up that area so beautifully. You sell out every game, basically, once the weather gets nice. And do you know how much money they have committed to their 2027 payroll? We're just talking about dollars that are guaranteed. That doesn't include guys who are in arbitration, and obviously they're going to make some money.
I do, because I read it, and it's crazy.
$38 million. That's it for 2027, and 3/4 of that is for Dansby Swanson. It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. I don't understand it. They're a good enough team. I felt like at times that they could make a run to the World Series last year, and they have done a good job this offseason of, they had a lot of vacancies in that bullpen. I think they've done a good job of spending a little bit of cash. I think I've read somewhere around $10 to $14 million on additions to the bullpen. Great. Your offense needs help. So let's go get it. I don't know. Any of those 3 names, I'm with you 100% on that. In fact, I'd be pissed off if I were a Cubs fan. So that's that. Cubs fans, let us know where you are right now in the comments section. All right, today's show, sponsored by BetterHelp. The new year doesn't require a new you, maybe just a less burden you. Therapy can help more easily identify what weighs you down, holds you back, by offering an unbiased perspective to better understand your relationships, your motivations, and your emotions as well. BetterHelp does the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. Short questionnaire helps identify your needs and your preferences, and the company's 12-plus years of experience and industry-leading match fulfillment rate means that they typically get it right the first time. And by the way, if you're not happy with your match, switch to a different therapist at any time from their tailored recs. This month, don't wait to reach out. BetterHelp makes it easy to get matched online with a qualified therapist. So sign up, get 10% off at BetterHelp.com/TalkinBaseball. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/TalkinBaseball. And yes, Talkin' Baseball is the right code. Go use that and start off your 2026 the right way. All right, let's get back to Edward Cabrera. During Monday's show, we went with a report that Cabrera to the Yankees was very close to being done. They didn't say it was a slam dunk, and obviously it wasn't, because he ended up on the north side of Chicago. Now, does New York need to pivot to another veteran arm, or is this fan base just sitting there in a panic for no reason?
Oh, I think there's a couple moves that need to get done here. And I think the fact that nothing's really been done, essentially, besides Grisham accepting the qualifying offer, I think that's what's frustrating for the Yankees, as they're seeing all these other teams kind of make moves, and they're just sitting kind of on the sidelines. I think a lot of people are just expecting Bellinger to be back. And is that enough right there? Obviously a great player, but he was there last year. That's kind of like the conundrum we always talk about. Yeah, he's a free agent. So he's not really adding to your roster because he was there last year. As far as like the pitching staff goes, it's tough because you're going to get back two excellent starting pitchers, but they're both coming off of, injuries. You're going to get Rodon back before Garrett Cole. So like by the end of the summer, you can just put up Fried, Schlittler, Rodon, and Cole, and then kind of have your guys back there, Will Warren, Yarbrough, whatever it is, and you'll have a complete rotation. So you could look at it that way, but like, would you like some depth, some insurance for that rotation? Sure. But at what cost, I guess it is. And if you're a Yankee fan, you're probably yelling like, we don't care what cost. Let's just go win some freaking baseball games.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go make sure I get Bellinger back, number one, or improve my offense before I made the move for a starting pitcher. I think that's my preference.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's where the Yankees fans' ire should be, is that our offense isn't good enough right now. We're putting up the projected lineup: Grisham, Judge, Rice, Stantone, Jazz, the Martian. Forget that he's even on this team. McMahon, Caballero starting the season at shortstop, and Austin Wells. I mean, the bottom four are.
I think their offense is good enough.
Well, yes, anything with Aaron Judge in it is probably good enough.
It includes Bellinger when we're talking about that. I mean, their offense was
right now. It doesn't
exactly. So yeah, they need to have Belly back.
Okay.
That's the whole thing. Like, are they improving their offense or just running him back?
So as far as the pitching goes, you mentioned Cole and Rodon, who are both expected back. I mean, Rodon relatively early, and then Cole not soon after that. It feels like. Clark Schmidt's a guy who's going to probably be there the second half of the year. He's coming back from arm surgery as well.
How is he going to be? It's the internal brace, so it's a shorter recovery time,
right?
All right.
We'll see, right? Everybody's a little bit different.
He had a surgery in July.
I know, but that has been a shorter. So you're talking about the second half of the season, being able to contribute. It's almost like a trade piece from that standpoint, but it's almost like the rite of spring for the New York Yankees that somebody is going down in spring training. I hate to put that out there, but it's happened the last couple of years, most notably with Cole a season ago. So they are one starting pitching injury away from having Paul Blackburn in their starting rotation, which you can put it together. It's fine. It's not, there's usually some off days in the beginning part of the year, but yeah, you'll take a few twists through the season with that. I will give you one name that I think could work out. Because I don't think you want a guy that is a guaranteed slam dunk starter, because how are you going to lure them there? They have access to the same health reports that we do, and they're going to go, well, when these guys come back, what's my role going to be? Well, we'll see what it is then. No, with pitching lacking in the show, and you want to be a starting pitcher, you want to go somewhere where you could be a starter every 5 days for most of these guys. But I think the one name that could be interesting, because he can go back and forth between the rotation and the bullpen, is Nick Martinez. Now, I don't know financially if they can squeeze him into the tight Yankee budget, but I think he's a fascinating name because he can give you innings as a starter, and then he can go help you out in the bullpen once everybody's healthy. And I think that he's a good guy, and he understands it, and he's figured out his role here back in the States ever since he rejoined the Padres a couple of years ago.
You kind of brought up the bullpen. I'm looking, and I'm not exactly loving that bullpen either. They got some work to do, the Yankees. They truly do.
What do you think about Nick Martinez?
I like it because, you're right. It kind of kills two birds with one stone there. Like, you have him as rotational depth. He can also go be a multi-inning guy out of the pen. I like it. What's he supposed to make? And why does it matter to the Yankees?
Everybody's got a budget.
I truly believe, and I guess we're not really seeing this, but when we go through this CBA, I'm expecting them to push that number forward, which would get a lot of these teams out of the tax threshold. So what are you worried about then? What, 1 year?
I don't know what it's like to be a billionaire. I don't know.
Me neither.
You know what it's like to hang around billionaires, though.
Yeah. A couple.
Right?
Yeah.
How many billionaires do you have in your phone?
I don't know if I have like a billionaire, to be honest with you.
I think so. Based on where you live,
Yeah, I definitely do.
you definitely do.
Yeah, probably like one guy's like family is a billionaire, so like maybe eventually. I probably got like 3.
I got to see if I still have his number. Hold on. I might have 1.
Not that means anything, people. Like, go live a fulfilling
1 billionaire
life with whatever you got.
I know, but it's just
trust me. A lot of people I know that are really rich are freaking miserable, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the truth.
That's true.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
I'm not miserable though. I love my life and I love our fans and I love you, Chris Rose, and I love baseball.
But you would also love to be a billionaire and see how unhappy you
I don't think I would. I think I'm at the perfect level of life. I still want to like grind and work hard and get a little bit more, but I can pay my bills and keep my family happy.
Look at this.
Yeah, I feel very content with where I'm at.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
And with that, I wish you a happy, healthy trip to the Southeast over the weekend. Go get yourself a Rams victory. We'll see you back here on Monday, just like everybody else. Let's get a little more movement in the baseball world. Again, it's been sprinkled in with the Cabrera trade and some other things here and there, but let's get it going. We've basically got a month to spring training where we're all going to be, John Boy Media is going to be flooding the Florida and Arizona markets. And then we've got our World Baseball Classic that we're going to, plus some stuff up in the warehouse that's happening. So it'll be a fun 2026 for this company as always. Okay. Awesome. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, the uber-talented and monetarily satisfied Trevor Plouffe, I am Chris Rose. We will see you Monday here on Baseball Today.